So I want to read something from the book Prince Ali and the President. Too much lip gloss. I look like fucking Burke. Rickford Faggot Burke. Let me read something from Prince Ali and the President to start things off for you today. From chapter 4, it says, faith, fear, and discernment. There are moments in life where belief is tested, not in theory, but in reality. Moments where what you think you know is challenged by what you experience. A visit to a troubled resident in Lenora was one of those moments. It wasn't meant to be anything extraordinary, just a visit. 3 of us, myself, Gerald, and Irfan, going into an area near the market, responding to what we believed was a situation that required faith. At the time, our understanding was simple. If something seemed beyond explanation, we called it spiritual. And we believed we had a role to play. Those lines, when something seemed beyond explanation, it's something spiritual. Those were the very words of our president, Irfan Ali, back in the day. You see, I have photographic memory. So I remember every detail. This is why most of what I wrote about in my books account for my personal interaction, things I heard, seen, documented over the years. And I continue to say, my inspiration behind my 8-part series books is this man, Prince Ali. You can call him President Ali, you can call him whatever you want, respectfully. But in my books, on my platform, I shall call him Prince Ali. I want to talk to the Christians. I have admonished Christian people, Guyanese Christians, over a period of time because I love you. I care about you. I want you to do according to your Bible. I want you to be Christians by deeds. You know, practice what you read, practice what you hear. Verify whatever is it your Bible tells you and apply that to your life in a practical sense. The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 28. I'll read a few scriptures for you, for the Christian audience. You shall not speak evil of a ruler of the people. God is telling the children of Israel, you shall not speak evil of your ruler. In Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 20, it says, do not curse the king. Even in your thoughts, do not curse the rich, even in your bedroom. From a bird of the air, for a bird of the air may carry your voice, and a winged creature may repeat your words. Romans 13, 1 and 2 says, let every soul be subjected to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinances of God. Lastly, the book of Titus, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. Remind them to be subject to the rulers and authorities, to obey, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, but be peaceful, gentle, showing humility to all men. To the Christians, I just read that. Whatever issues I may have with you is because you are hypocrites. You are demonic hypocrites. Christians, Guyanese Christians, Afro-Guyanese Christians, you are demonic hypocrites. The fact that you go to church on Saturday and Sunday, you profess all that you profess. You confess with your mouth that Jesus is your Lord and Savior. You condemn every other religion, especially the Hindus. You criticize the Muslims. All of that you do to convey an impression as if you are the holiest of the holy. Fine, we give you that. But your Bible says, your scriptures says, it is important that you do not speak ill of your fucking president. You do not plot, conspire, join with evil forces against your leaders. Why? Because God has appointed Ali. God has anointed Ali. God has chosen Ali to rule, you bunch of jackasses, giving you the best life ever, the richest life ever. You can buy car, buses, you can buy all these things that you never dreamt. Some of you have lived in renting houses fucking generations. You have lived in rented houses generations. And now you own a house. Now you're living rent free. Now you can drive a car. Now you can have a bus. Now you can have all these fucking things because the man of God, the man that God himself chose with his own hands and anointed him to rule that country, has blessed you, you motherfuckers. Has blessed you. Now all you niggas can walk around like you're it, like you have accomplished, you have arrived. You can drive to your church. You can drive to your jobs. And you think that you are special, that God just did this remarkable thing for you. Coincidentally, after 2020, your life took a turn for the better after a Muslim Indian man became president. You think God favored you specially? That you can join, not just today, this is beyond today or yesterday or wherever. You can join with the evil forces of that nation. Forces that you know the only intention of the forces that you are joining with is to steal, kill, and destroy. Dismantle the work of God. To undo the plan of the Almighty for Guyanese and Guyana. You are colluding and joining with that evil, nasty force to spread lies, propaganda against a man that has delivered your fucking fortune. Your best came Your best king. All them years you've been going to church and you're hearing, they have it written on the walls, your best is yet to come. Well, listen, motherfuckers, your best arrived in 2020 when Irfan Ali says, I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Guyana. That's when your best arrived. Ali, Irfan Ali, Muhammad Irfan Ali was the best Guyanese was waiting on all their fucking lives. That man. So because of that man, Irfan Ali, you get fat. You have 2 and 3 cars. You can travel to America. No hassle. Now you can go to Barbados with just an ID card. You can go any part of the world and you are well respected because of one man. That was the best Guyana was waiting for. The sad thing is, we, the good citizens of Guyana, we deserved Irfan Ali. We deserved Zulkifar Mustafa. We deserved Susan Rodriguez. We deserved all of those great cabinet ministers that are serving the people of Guyana. We deserve them because we are the good citizens of Guyana. God answered our prayers. Our prayers. But because you losers, you fucking lowlifes, you live in the country, you are benefiting from our sweat, from our prayers, from our president. You are benefiting. You ungrateful sons of bitches. No, literally sons of bitches. Because the fact that you could be born with such ungrateful attitude, that you can collude with a criminal, a world-renowned fucking psychopathic criminal, to think you can destroy a holy regime, to think you can destroy a God-inspired government, to think you can destroy and bring down a holy man who is president. Who the fuck is your demonic leader? Who the motherfucker is that pussy ass, nigger ass Muhammad to say he can demand anybody resigning? Who the fuck is he? Who is he? Let me list the allegations. Christians. Yeah, I'm talking to Christians. I am talking to Christians. I have a beef with niggers. You see, I am talking to Christians. I ain't addressing the issue yet. I am talking to Christians. You understand? You put us in this shit. Not Hindus, not even Muslims. You Christians, you Jesus freaks, you fucking hypocrites. You put us in this shit because you destroyed your own party. You choose a murderous criminal over a good man, Norton. You hate your skin so much. You are a disgrace for black people that you choose a murderous criminal who killed children, allegedly. And you voted for him over your own party. And now you think you can help to dig a grave? Huh? To genocide the PPP? That's what you're hoping to accomplish? So I'm talking to you. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, every weapon that you help form against the blessed Irfan Ali, the president of the beautiful country Guyana, the leader that 90% of the country adores and loves. Every weapon that you conspire to form against that man, today I'm fucking telling you niggas, you are not a part of one Guyana, because Guyana will prosper without you. You will spend every day in your misery of your regret. Every day. Because why? You are already lazy. You're fucking blind. You're visionless. You have no inspiration, no direction. All of that encompasses your life. And you shall spend the rest of your days bitter when you can't blame the Indian man anymore. You're going to blame your parents for giving birth to you. They should have aborted your dumbasses so you wouldn't have to be a part of this society now to put the rest of us in misery because you motherfuckers went and you voted for an evil, evil man. An evil man. And today we have to face the consequences for your fucking mistakes. We have to face the consequences for your mistakes. Well, he'll be soon gone. He'll be soon gone. And his transgressions you shall pay. Because while he'll be at peace, while he shall be at peace in federal prison, enjoying the destruction and the chaos he left behind, you stupid dunderheads shall reap the rewards of your leaders' planning. I shall say this. I'm not dealing with script today. I made a note, but fuck that. Let me say something to you. Directly. To the international viewers. Because of the self-hatred nature of the African in Guyana, they voted for sin. They voted for transgression. They voted for illegal activity. They voted for crime. They voted for money laundering. They voted for wire transfer. They voted for the conspiracy to commit murder. They voted for corruption. They voted for molestation. They voted for trafficking. They voted for destabilizing the country. They voted for financial frauds. They voted for all of these things against the decent plan and projection that Guyana was on, mandated by God under his man. I need to paint this picture to you so you understand. You're wasting your time with what Muhammad allegedly posted. You're wasting your time. What are you hoping to accomplish? What are you hoping to accomplish? Sharing that shit that he posted. What investigation? What corruption? What are you hoping to achieve? What do you think you can achieve? So that Guyanese can see what? Can see what? An Indian man is interested in agriculture. An Indian man wants to rear pigs and fowls and have a fish farm. Is that anything new? Is that anything new? Is that breaking news? I said on previous programs, and I came back, I doubled down on what I said, while at the same time I apologized to the minister, Zulka Mustafa, for saying that he's broke, meaning that he's heavily indebted. Now I take it back. Now I take it back. I'm not apologizing anymore. I take back that apology. Because not only is the minister in fucking debt, the president too. What kind of a bullshit is this? And here I was, telling Irfan Ali to do better by his ministers, not to let them live a life of debt hanging over their heads because these men are working hard for the country. Lo and behold, thanks to this pussy ass Muhammad, thanks to this fuckhole Muhammad, now we all learned that the president is also indebted. That the president of the country, who they said is corrupt, who they said stole whatever, is also indebted. No wonder the ministers are broke. The president is also broke. The president is also broke. And here I am going hard on the man thinking that he's not nice to his ministers. He can't even help himself. What the fuck? What does Granger have? Before Granger became president, what did he have? He was a retired military man, right? He lived on his pension. He was president for all those years. What did he try to do to say that he's going to make a contribution towards the growth and the well-being of Guyanese? What? Just to take land and leave it there to say that he has some lands? Did he make an attempt to build some apartments? Did he make some attempt to open maybe some supermarkets, maybe a hotel, so that he can contribute towards the job market in Guyana? What did he do with the lands that he secured under his tenure? What did any of the people, the PNC people, what did they do with all the hundreds of acres of land that they took? Did they build anything? No, they took it and they sold it back. To who? The same people they're calling racist. Private Indian developers. They sold the land that they took from the government. Fucking PNC did it. They had no vision. They had no initiative. They were a bunch of cowards. Couldn't even go to the bank for a loan to build an apartment complex, to provide help, to provide housing for Guyanese, jobs for niggers. None of that. They stole, they sold, they fuck it out, and now they're dried and they're empty. They come back attacking Ali's cabinet because they know what they did, only to find out, thanks to the most corrupt businessman, illiterate jackass, numbskull, that the president and his ministers are broke. The president and his ministers are broke. So, Mohammed, if that was your intention, to tell Guyanese that not even Irfan Ali is ciphering the money to put in his pocket, well, you have accomplished that. Now we know that our leader, the man that God appointed, decided to lead by example and tell Guyanese, I'm going to risk loans at the bank, and if I can take loans to invest, you can take loans to invest. So we see why the whole cabinet are indebted to the financial institutions, because none of them can't steal. They have to borrow. And when you borrow, you have to pay back, right? You have to pay back. So let's deal with that. Thank you, President Irfan Ali. You see, I said before, I'm borrowing no money to build no mansion. I said that a few days ago. And I said, that's the black side that I still have somewhere that is afraid to risk financial debts. I ain't got the belly for that. Now you go expose yourself, President Ali, that you are hundreds of millions of dollars in debt and you have a permanent job, because even after presidency, you'll be retired as a president. So your retirement salary can still help to pay back your bank loans. But if you can risk that as a president, why am I cowarding about? What am I cowarding about? You can take loans, so can I. Now I feel like a nigger because the PNC was there for all them years and they did nothing. It would have been better if the PNC ministers and Granger were exposed to have been indebted by the bank. At least we can say they used their ministerial position to secure huge loans from the banks. We could have said that. But instead, they stole the money. They didn't take loans because they're fucking nigger cowards. I'm gonna start taking loans so that I have to come out of that category. Because I'm not black. Okay? Black people don't take loans. They're cowards. They're afraid of loans. They're afraid of responsibility. And I think that is not the reason why I never took loans, but I think I should start now. Since the president has led the way, I'll follow. But you need to see the contrast here. PNC built nothing. PNC people built nothing. They invested in nothing. They developed nothing. You could have starved to death. Granger told you, motherfuckers, sell plantain chips. And what's the other thing? He told you to sell plantain chips to make ends meet. The nigger Granger told you that. He could have told you, get a kitchen garden, go into farming, apply to the government for some land, develop it, rear some chicken, mind some cows and pigs. He could have done that, but because he's a fucking black man with no capacity to think about food supply, all he told you to sell plantain chips. How are you going to get the plantain? To fry it. The Indian has to grow the plantain, sell it to you. The Indian has to import the oil, sell it to you. For you to cook on a stove that the Indian man and the Chinese man has to bring into Guyana, for you to live in a house, in a kitchen that the Indian man has to build and rent you, and now you want to put on the cross the typical Indo-Guyanese man. The only difference is because he is the president of the country. Let me tell you what I know about Irfan Ali. Back in the day, he hated junk food. So did I. The only time you find it was convenient for us, the fellas, to buy a Chinese food is when we went out, The time was exhausted, so you couldn't rush back, and the hunger was there. But he would buy one Chinese food and just divide it within three persons. But that was not a thing. Irfan always liked fishing and agriculture. Always. That's all he talked about. All he talked about, as what I can remember. And then he was in his teens. In his teens. Nothing to do with this capacity of politics. Just the love the man has for nature. For nature. As a matter of fact, once he mentioned to me, because an uncle of mine, Lionel Langevin, if you know him, Zeeburg Secondary School, Langevin. If you know Lionel Langevin, he was an agriculture scientist. That's my uncle, was my uncle. He passed away. Irfan knew of him. And Irfan always says he wants to go in that direction, to become an agricultural scientist because of his passion for everything nature. The man was obsessed with nature for as long as I can remember. What makes you think just because he's going to be president for 10 years is going to take that out of him? That is just 10 years of his life. He's going to go into public service at that level. What happened to the rest of his life? What happened to before he even entered politics? Before he became ministers and stuff? What happened to those days? He was always Irfan Ali. I said it many times. Irfan was always Irfan. Minister or president would not change that. Don't you see what he does still? When he goes to your house, he goes straight to the kitchen and helped to cook the food. He's president. That didn't stop him from serving people, from hugging babies, from dancing like Michael Jackson, from eating with his hands, from taking an egg ball and slicing it, giving somebody half and he eats the half. That's what I know of him. That is what I know of him, okay? That's how he is. If it's just him and I, he would buy one egg ball. If that's all the money can afford, he cuts it in half, or they usually cut it. He takes half, he gives me half. That is fucking Irfan forever. He became president. Don't you still see that? So tell me, if all of his characteristics are intact, why would it change when he becomes president? Why would it change? This man has done above and beyond. After COVID, all Ali talked about is food security. He goes to the UN, CARICOM, any heads of government meeting, wherever President Irfan Ali goes, when he's talking on biodiversity, when he's talking about whatever level he's at, he always emphasizes food security. Guyana needs to secure that. Guyana needs to go back to the days when Guyana was what? The food basket of the Caribbean. Nobody wants to risk any large-scale investment as it relates to agriculture. Nobody. People want a quick turnover, a fast return. They will sell cars. They will import food from another country because they have nothing to do with it. They just import, put on the shelves, and they sell. Nobody wants to grow because growing food requires patience, investment, and you can only recover your investment on a long term. This is why when you venture into those avenues, you need to have common sense partners. Common sense partners who share your vision. The president has risked. He risked his credibility and his name by bringing people on board that shared a similar passion for growing food. Investors. When you have people invest in your idea, technically speaking, it's a loan. They're loaning you their resources on the basis that you promise them returns. Investors don't invest and stick around to help you. They invest the money. You have to do the rest. The banks don't lend you money and then they come and do the job for you. No, they lend you money, but you have to do the rest. This is what the president, even while he's trying to get Guyana fat, fed, and comfortable, he's busy thinking, how can we sustain this? How can we sustain this? The man in thinking about exports, he's thinking about what can I do? How can we help to feed the nation? The people who are a part of that project are Guyanese. Mohammed, motherfucker. Guyanese. The people who are employed to work there in whatever capacity are Guyanese. When do you think the people who are involved in that project, and it in the president's own, as he's the sole owner, Irfan Ali was once a private citizen. Unfortunately, after he finishes his second term, he would no longer be considered a private citizen. But he was a private citizen long before, working on the development of that project. Had to convince people to lend him money, to invest in it. They trusted the initiative only because he became president. And they knew that his policies are friendly towards open market. This is why they trusted it. Because they know that this man has the country's interest at heart. And he ain't gonna set them up to fail. So people poured money into the project. That's one of the projects. Why can't we focus on the many, many, many other projects around the country that we call PPP? Public-private partnership, gas to energy project, the oil block project, the hotels project, the housing project. Why you single-handedly identify a fucking ranch when there are hundreds of projects around the country that the government is also involved in? Private sector and public sector merge together to execute projects in the benefit and favor of Guyanese. Why not mention any of those? You're talking about a project on a cattle ranch to show some dumbass Guyanese who have no fucking idea what they're looking at, calling some figures that you can't verify. 2 billion? Are you the accountant for that project, Mohammed? Are you the accountant for that project? You check the receipts. You have all the documentation for the banks and all these investors as to how much they invested. Have you seen all the contracts related to that project? No, you didn't. You're speculating because some assholes, and you see President Ali, I hope this showed you now you can't trust niggas. They're leaking, they're working for you, not for you, for the company. They're leaking information to Mohammed because they have silent jealousy. Silent jealousy. Why? They believe that if Mohammed is president, when he says, I swear to whatever, so help me God, they can go check their bank account and they see a raise in their zero balance. They think Mohammed being president automatically makes them niggas rich. You don't get rich like that. To get rich, Mohammed should tell you. His father spent years in corruption, money laundering, criminal activities, let him tell you. He was born when his father already secured hundreds of millions of bad money. He was born into that. But let him tell you how long it took him to smuggle all the gold he smuggled, to amass the wealth he has. It took him years, years. So don't think if he, at some strange parallel universe, becomes president and you niggas are wrong, it means you'll get rich. That's what they thought with Obama. Yeah. That's what the South Africans thought with Nelson Mandela. They're still broke, they're still poor, and they're still fuck up. So let's look at the reality now. Why is he after Mustafa, Zulkar Mustafa? This is not about President Irfan Ali, because somehow they're trying to tie the Minister of Agriculture to this project, because everything that is done in this ranch comes under the Ministry of Agriculture. Everything comes under the Ministry of Agriculture. They want to tie it to the ministry, and by extension, tie it to Zulkar Mustafa. The question is why? Why is the question? I told you I had something to share with you about Zulkar Mustafa. I'm going to share it now. You see, my sources, I had my suspicions. You don't pelt a tree unless you see it's bearing fruits. The only time a woman criticizes a man is because she can't get him. Men criticize women because the woman isn't interested. So why is it that Muhammad is attacking Zulkar Mustafa? Apart from the fact that all the illegal shell companies that Shell had that could no longer access contracts, and a lot of the contracts were taken away from them, so it's a personal vendetta. Apart from that, I have credible information that Azruddin Muhammad is of the view, and there are agents in the PPP, agents, bad, ungrateful, scrawly dog agents in the PPP who are telling the Muhammads a lot of nasty things that are not true. Why? Because Zulkar Mustafa might be the next presidential candidate. And you think it's Anand Landala. I said I wanted Priya Manichan, but this is some deep shit. This is some deep stuff. What Muhammad is doing, he knows he can't get anywhere with that hoax, but farming. But like I said, this is not about him achieving anything. This is about discrediting Mustafa. President Ali is president, and he shall be president until 2030. Because the Constitution does not allow a third term, unfortunately, that great man's tenure ends 2030. The next person that there are people who are supposed to be loyal to Chedi. Oh, and thank you, Azruddin. Thank you for acknowledging that the greatest man walked Guyana soil is Chedi Jagan. Thank you for acknowledging that. I didn't need your confirmation. You're a pussy. But at least you acknowledged Chedi Jagan's plan, and he was a great man, is a great legend. But we don't need you to complete the statement with that's why Irfan Ali is the greatest president, because he came from the school of Chedi. We don't need you to say that. I will say it. Guyanese know that. Chedi Jagan's legacy, policies, plan for Guyana was birthed in Ali. What you are seeing now, the passion to make Guyana a food hub, a great nation, it's the dream of Chedi coming alive in Ali. So there's one thing that you acknowledge there. Accidental opposition leader and minister of floods and lies. But at the end of the day, you have a problem because Zulkar Mustafa might be the next president. So the people in the PPP who might be leaking you this kind of shit wants you to start spreading all of these fake news about Mustafa to frustrate the supporters who have to vote at the Congress. So they would say, no, we will not vote for Mustafa because of all these allegations. He's corrupt, he's colluding with this one, he's that, so no, we can't give him our votes. And then the person that they really want, who might favor Muhammad, if he's still around, and from all indication, this pussy might be around. Because Ali wouldn't sign the deal to let him go. President Ali is a good man. Anyway, Muhammad is targeting Mustafa because Mustafa might be the next president. There, I said it. Zulkar Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture, is one of the most disciplined, strongest, overqualified leaders in the PPP. And he might be the next president of Guyana for a certainty. For a certainty. So this attack that Muhammad is coming with, and he thinks he got something with this so-called ranch, black belly ship, hassa and fish and Brazilian cow, and it's fucking nonsense. Thank you, Ali, for feeding the nation. Thank you for feeding the nation. Them hungry belly scraps that are following that fucking asshole. Thank you for giving them food, President Ali. Thank you. I do hope that you get sales and you don't have to sell the products under market value, because you have to pay your investors. You have to pay the bank. And we don't want you to be embarrassed with a bank coming and levying on your place and seizing the place because you can't pay a loan. Like I said, if the government of Guyana could have financed a lot of projects that foreign investors joined with, why couldn't the government of Guyana finance that agriculture project there, that modern facility? Why not? You didn't want to finance yourself, Mr. President? Were you afraid of this thing now that somebody might leak, that Ali is financing his own initiative, therefore he's corrupt? Is that what you were running from? You go borrowing money from the bank? Look what happened. Look what happened. They still sneak information out. You might as well have had the government partnered with the project, because it's a project for the country. The modernization, you have talked about it on the campaign trail. For a lot of you losers who seem to be forgetful, throughout 2020, Ali was talking about modernization of the agriculture sector, bringing the sector to a standard where you can have the quality to export. Nobody wants to get involved. Because like I said, it's all about a quick turnover. Nobody wants to invest their money because they have to wait too long to see returns. They want somebody else to do it. This is the mentality in many countries. So when the Chinese come and they do the initial investment, when the Indians come or the white man comes and they did the initial investment, then you hear, oh, corruption. If Guyana had told the business sector in Guyana to sponsor oil exploration companies to explore the Guyana waters for oil. You think they would have gone after it? You think they would have invested the billions that ExxonMobil and the others invested for years without any certainty they would find oil? You think they would do that? No, they would not have. Exxon took the risk. Shell took the Shell as in the company. All those oil companies, they took the risk. They took money from investors to explore for oil in Guyana's waters. Years they've been doing it. They've been going after it. When they finally found the oil, how long did it take them before they could have recovered a profit? How many years? They're still recovering profit. They're still recovering profit. It will take them years to come to say they have, now they can say, okay, we're getting something. The whole time frame is about 20 years. 20 years from beginning to when they actually started drilling. Did Guyana invest a cent? Did any business person from Guyana invest a cent? Now everybody's running after when the oil is found. Shell, you're one of them. Mohammed's, you're one of them. You were running after the whole, to get involved in the oil exploration. I mean, the oil company. The Americans, thanks to the Americans, you were blocked. So this personal vendetta that you have against America and that is because you cannot get involved in the oil sector. But you had money, you had billions you stole a long time. You could have also joined the exploration team to see where the oil is, but you didn't. None of you did. Until the oil is discovered, now everybody, VLAC, all of these fuckers, now they want to get involved. It's the same with the agriculture sector. If President Irfan Ali says we are going to privatize the sugar industry, Guyanese wouldn't go and say we're going to bid for it. But if the government partners with some investor, you'll hear, oh, it's corruption, they give it to their friends and families. Regardless of how you twist this, it will come down to the same thing. They don't want to do it. They don't want anybody to do it. They want it to be left like that, to get swamped, just to go undercover, and then some foreigner comes and import stuff to the country and resell to them. They don't want to buy their own products. I say fuck it. Thank you, President Irfan Ali, for the great initiative. Thank you for the great initiative. You're feeding Guyana. You've given them jobs. You're making them proud. And we would like to know the time comes when Guyana can export mutton, goat meat, beef, pork, fish, and other products with a stamp produced in Guyana. And for us to be at that level, we need real investment. We need proper modernization. And you are the only person with that vision to make that happen. And if it's up to me, Zolkar Mustafa, Chedi has a plan. Dr. Chedi Jagan has a plan for Guyana. Progress must continue. From my sources, you are not interested in being the president. I wonder why. Are you afraid of the critics, the PNC? You don't have to worry about Muhammad. He will not be there. He is trying to break your chances, Minister Mustafa, of achieving that objective. You don't have to want to be president, sir. It's not up to you. If the universe has called you for that, Guyanese are crying out for a continuity of Irfan Ali. Unfortunately, our great leader cannot have a third term. Neither can Jaglio. If it is true that all of this attack that is coming your way is because you might be the next president, please, Minister Mustafa, be the next president. I have never heard anything bad about you. Never. And I get a lot of stuff. You will be surprised to see how much things PPP people are leaking to me about PPP people. I don't bother with them. I know it's jealousy. They were leaking stuff for President Irfan Ali. Imagine that. I have always announced that, hey, this is my brother. You can't send me shit about Ali. They still used to try to send me shit during the elections, during the campaign time. They're still. I said, for what? What do you hope to achieve? I ain't going to turn on Ali. This is bullshit. All the stuff you're talking about the man is lies and bullshit. I would never, because I know God chose him. Now they're doing the same thing with Mustafa. Same thing. But they have a loud voice. A loud, premature voice they have. Azriddin Muhammad. To spread that negativity against Zulkar Mustafa. Because he might be the next president of Guyana. I am going to spend every day encouraging you, Zulkar Mustafa, to take up the mantle. Take up the mantle. Guyana needs to continue along the path of self-sustenance, of progress, of development. Guyana needs to continue. And if God says you must be the president, sir, you must be the president. Fuck Muhammad. All the shit he's spreading, it is connected to you, Zulkar. You are the target. They're tying all of this to you because they want to bring Guyanese attention to you so that when it's announced that you are the running mate for the presidency, they're going to bring these things up and say, you see, look there. He was tied to the farm. He was tied to this. He was tied to that, to discredit you. Minister Zulkar Mustafa, I am asking you. Your name is very important. I like the song of President Mustafa. They have to wonder if it's a white man, a black man, or an Indian man because of your name. There's a mystery in your name. Accept the mantle. If my sources are correct, if my suspicions are correct, the Muhammad Azriddin knows why he's attacking you. He knows why he's attacking you because he knows from whoever is in the PPP that is leaking information from him is telling him to target you because you might be the next president. And they don't want you to be the next president. Maybe they have somebody in the PPP that want to be the president instead of you. I say, fuck it. I hope I don't find out who from the PPP is leaking information to the Muhammads because I'm going to crucify you on this program. If I find the source of the PPP that is leaking information to Muhammad, and I can verify that you are the source, I'm going to crucify you every day on my show, on my platform, because you are a hypocrite. You're a jealousful hypocrite, and you should fuck yourself with a fork. Muhammad can't ever. He has a huge platform. That's what money gets you. But when he's out the country, you think Norton is going to pick up that low-life attitude? You think Norton is going to pick up that low-life attitude? You think Tabitha Haley is going to pick up that low? No, you can't get to those people. Those people are classy people. Those people are people of status, class, education. You can't get them to do the kind of Jankalar, fuck it, man. You can't get them to do the shit Muhammad is doing. He is a cow down, dog, dirty, bottom house shithead. You can get him to do anything, but not the other ones with education. I'm going to spend some time here today. Attorney General Alan Nandalal, I have called for proper laws in Guyana. Proper laws. I want to know, Attorney General, I want to know what happened to the laws against trespassing, privacy, bullyism. Let's deal with trespassing and privacy. What happened to those laws? What happened to the Guyana Aviation Authority? Aren't there policies regarding drones? Don't you are supposed to obtain a license from the Guyana Aviation Authority to fly drones? Don't you have to get permission? If there are no laws concerning these things, get the fucking laws. Because this man has been abusing this thing for a long time. He's flying drones over people's private space, airspace, invading their property, invading their privacy. For what? Did Muhammad suspected children were abused on that location? Did he suspected criminal activities on that location? Was he an operative for the police? Was he working with some organization to track illegal activities? So when he approached the people who were concerned in that camp, they refused him access to the camp. So he had to now unilaterally fly drones to spy on the operations there. What is the justification and the legal permissions that Muhammad had secured to do what he did and continues to do? Why can't anyone hold this man responsible? This is an invasion of privacy. This is trespassing. He has trespassed. And to make matters worse, you can't even take your phone and film anywhere without people's permission. You need to secure the permission of individuals before you can film them. If you film somebody, not an act of violence or something illegal happening, just like that, you just film because you want to film, that's a criminal offense. It's a crime. How is drone videoing with a drone over people's properties? How is that not a crime? This is a private premise, a private property that Muhammad has invaded again. And he posted it on the internet. Why is he not in handcuffs? Why is he not before the courts? Why is he not charged for this? When enough is enough, man? You think he could have done that to the White House? You think he could have done that to one of Trump's private residence? Why is this not illegal? This man continues to do this and has not justified his reasons. You suspected corruption. What corruption? What corruption have you suspected? You have taken out pictures. You have shared videos on a location that is allegedly frequently visited by the president. You have exposed the man's security. Look the region where? A conflict zone, a place that Venezuela wants to annex. I mean, not a scribble there. Sorry, correction. This is on the Demerara. Border with close to Brazil. The president now is vulnerable because prior to this, Muhammad's videos, nobody knew except for people who had to know about the existence of that farm. You're telling the public and the world what is there. Now you can have robbers, thieves, to break in the place, steal I mean, you have exposed that private ranch to looters, to pirates, to thieves, to criminals, and you can face no consequence to that? Come on, Attorney General. This man is really bigger than the law, isn't he? Who else could have done that? Who else could have done that and gotten away with it? Let's be fair here. Let us be fair here. If you think I'm wrong, that Mohammed had a right to keep violating, or he has the right to keep violating the privacy of people, private citizens, and so on, give me your comment in the comment section. The government needs to know that you don't condone this nonsense. That is a private facility. There's a reason why it is where it is. Everything that happens there is vulnerable, could be compromised. You're talking about livestock. You're talking about food. This should be condemned at all levels. It should be condemned at all levels. President or not, this should not be tolerated. Mr. President, President Irfan Ali, you didn't have to come out and respond to that nonsense. And if I had to advise you, keep the cameras away from your location. That place is not fully functioning yet. It's not completed. It has been officially opened. There's a lot that still needs to be in place before you can actually see you serving the people. Why would you prematurely take cameras there because somebody violated the airspace and exposed what Guyanese already knew? Don't bow to this. You bow to this, you're giving Mohammed leverage. He's going to play on that to say he's a strong one because Ali has to bow to him. Fuck them. Let them say what they want to say. Let them share how much they want to share. They're a bunch of the lazy lowlifes. We should start sending drones over the places that he has, the illegal activities he is conducting, all the empty land he secured from the PNC that has bushes all over them, jungles all over them, all the apartments that he built and doesn't want to rent to black people. We should send drones over those places. Let the public know what a hypocrite he is, Azriddin Mohammed. You have a great leader, an honest, productive agriculture minister who is doing the right thing for the country. And you're going to have them be distracted with a low-life, corrupt businessman just because he thinks his money makes him immune to justice. He can do whatever he wishes, exploit whoever he wishes. Mr. President, don't take cameras into that place. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Nobody. You are an agriculturalist. That's what you are. President or not, at the end of the day, you're doing what you love to do. And that project, or whatever project they're linking you to, has never in any way taken you away from the functions of the president. You are not officially tied to these projects they're putting you in. There's nothing there they can say that you are managing this thing or running this thing on a daily basis. You are the president 24/7. I am saying this to Guyanese. Like many other PPP, public-private partnerships, they are board of directors, they are company managers and CEOs that controls and run these organizations for the investors. The investors themselves they're not involved in those kind of projects. But just because somebody leaked somewhere that Irfan is somehow tied to something, oh, it's corruption, where did he get 2 billion from? Well, if you have all the figures, PNC sympathizers, all them niggas that follow Azriddin, If you have the figures, you have the receipts, and you have checked and totaled, don't worry about the figures Ashudin pulled out of his head. He's not the one doing that. He's reading a teleprompter. He is where he stood on the green screen, and it seemed like he's at location. That is an audio dubbed, edited piece. He did a voiceover, and whoever the editors are, they just piece things in place. That's what you get there. It's a script that was written. So all them figures that he pretend like he's pulling out of his head, it's thing they just come up with. They're in business. They're in a business with lands, and they have averages. Ashudin and his father, they have averages. They know what things might cost. They're working with their average. But for the rest of you who are repeating that, have you seen the receipts? Did you talk to the contractors? Did you talk to all the people who are involved in that project? Have you seen whatever they documented? No. You don't know. Then shut the fuck up and stop repeating that imbecile you call your opposition leader, because you don't know. Mr. President, you don't need to answer these fools. This attack is against Mustafa. They think Mustafa is going to replace you 2030. And they know that Mustafa is more hardcore than you, Mr. President. So if they think they can't corrupt you, the president, they definitely can't fuck around Mustafa. So they don't want Mustafa anywhere close to being the president, because that means that Mohammed and all the people that are leaking information to him are fucked, screwed. If Zulkan Mustafa is ever the president, they can't abuse Jagdeo, they can't abuse Ali, and they definitely can't abuse Zulkan Mustafa. But I'm going to encourage Zulkan Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture, to listen to that still small voice that is telling you you might be the next president, and obey that voice. Don't let any of this propaganda and none of these fools take you off that track. Remember, we are all corrupt. If that's what they're accusing you of, we're all corrupt. If you cheat on your husband, you're corrupt. You cheat on your wife, you're corrupt. If you try to play your boss, you're corrupt. If you try to scam someone, you're corrupt. If you lie on your resume, you're corrupt. If you sin, you're corrupt. If while you're having sex with your wife, you're fantasizing on another woman, you are corrupt. Sin is a sin. Don't point the finger at Zulkan Mustafa. No, because you're an innocent. So Ashudin, remember, you have already stolen 191 billion. You are accusing the president of embezzling 2 billion. And you have stolen, up to recently, you corrupted the court where you didn't have to pay 800 million, and you are wasting Guyanese time on some fabricated lie about some ranch over 2 billion, and you are still to pay. This is why you're going to prison. 191 billion to Guyana. Forget the amount you have to pay to the US. You want us to forget your crimes, to focus on a grain of salt, that you are accusing the president of stealing a grain of salt, and you ran away with a bag of rice? My fellow citizen, pay no attention to a scam artist, a skunt, a scrapple, and a bitch ass nigger they call Azruddin. There are a lot of fake profiles that I post in comments in my page. One of the profiles belongs to Azruddin Muhammad. One of it. So let me tell you this, Azruddin Muhammad. You are a skunt. You are a skunt, and a skunt. And you are going to leave the country. And when you're gone, nobody else is going to continue that shitty thing you're doing. Because they're not interested. You stand alone right now, not even your sister. Your sister can't deal with the fire anymore, so she's backed off. You are alone in this. Nobody wants to be a part of it. They realize that you are sinking them and you want to take them down with you. So they have withdrawn themselves. You stand alone, Azruddin. And all them newscasts that you think you control, like News Source, Travis Chase, and all them other platforms, let me see what will become of them after you are going to the federal prison. Let me see what will become of them. I hope the government stop putting advertisement on Gordon Mosley, News Source, H something, whatever, Travis Chase News, and the others. I hope the government stops putting advertisements on these platforms. When their check is gone, let us see how they will survive. For now, they get in the money, so the propaganda is good for them to push. But for you Guyanese, stand with your government, stand with all the people who stand with the PPP, who stand for progress, because we are not going to tolerate this kind of nonsense against our leader. These lies that they're pushing, the world must know they are lying, and what is their true agenda. Their true agenda is jealousy. They want to destabilize the government. And right now, like I said before, this is because they want to prevent Zulkar Mustafa from being the next president. He is not interested. You better be interested, Zulkifar. You better be interested. Because the wrong person might take that job. Then it might be too late. See, like Ramatar, he was the wrong guy. You see how we suffered? Okay. So you better be interested, Zulkar Mustafa. I'll encourage you every day. And I want to know who is the PPP person that is leaking information to Muhammad. I want the name of the person. Send me the name. Let me know who they are. Share this live. Share this live. Spread this message. Let everybody hear what I had to say on this matter. Let them know Muhammad lied. He lied. He lied. He lied and continues to lie because he wants to stay out of prison. His time is coming. The days are counting down. He has to go soon. Let him go the fuck out of the country so we can be at peace. At peace. Please. Prince Ali and the President. Go to Amazon.com and show all the haters of the president, all the haters of the government, that you can afford, thanks to President Ali, you can afford to buy a copy of the book. Show them Ali's policy, Ali's government, Ali's initiative made most of Guyana rich. 80% of the country right now lives at the middle class. 80%. The 20%, they're lazy and they follow the Mohammeds. 80% of Guyanese live middle class life. They ain't paying rent. They practically have no bills. They all are driving vehicles. They're eating 6 meals a day. And they're fucking. Thanks to President Irfan Ali. The 20% that are complaining and cussing, they're lazy. They're lazy. They're fucking lazy. I'm upset. I'm pissed. No, really, I'm pissed. I had to wear my, because I need to read some stuff. Get the Mohammeds for breaking the law. He violated people's privacy by flying drones. I hope you deal with him, Attorney General. Deal with Mohammed. Charge him for violating and trespassing. Until next time.